So welcome back to the channel where today I'll be providing you with the most insightful knowledge that you will need to know about property as of mid-February 2021. Now, the reason I've whipped out the tie again is I'd figured I'd jump on these topics because let's be honest, these videos seem to be pretty popular. And I have no shame in admitting that I am now chasing views, quite a lot of them. But I'm also not a stranger to giving away some takeaways that can save yourselves thousands and thousands of pounds, as well as thousands of hours, well, probably not 1,000, a few hundred hours of researching yourself on Google and property forums. So let's begin. Firstly, we're going to start with stamp duty. So as I mentioned in my previous bulletin, there is not much else really to add, other than that on the 3rd of March, we will be getting a real insight into whether the stamp duty will be extended past the 31st of March. However, what we do know, according to statistics and reports from estate agents, is that buyers are now getting cold feet, and signs are really starting to show. House transactions are seemingly slowing down for the first time in quite some time. Of course, buyers are also recognizing this and realizing that, well, the closer we get to the stamp duty cutoff, the more likely buyers are likely to pull out, and the chance of them selling their houses will slightly decrease. So what did they do? They start to reduce their prices, which moves us over nicely to the price reduction. So house prices have dropped by 0.3% in January, which shows the signs that the artificial propping of the market, as I've mentioned a few times now, are showing their first signs of slowing down. However, don't get too excited, please. If you're a property investor, don't rush out and just go and buy something because there's been a reduction in price, because this is only the lowest price since April 2020, and house prices are still ridiculously £13,000 higher since that day, at least according to Halifax. So personally, I think that reduction is too little, too late. Because one thing I recognise is that even with price drops like this and the addition of the stamp duty reduction, which as we know now we're getting very close to the 31st of March, we'll still have people fearful of proceeding with the purchase because, let's be honest, they can all miss that deadline. Because we all know the average timescales of buying a house and completing the transaction is around 3 to 4 months. And well, I'm no mathematician, but we seem to be short of some days. And I've just had a very quick update just to remind you all that although there is a lot of uncertainty right now, and I will be speaking about some more important topics in a few moments that may increase your anxiety, the only certainty that we all do have right now is that we are all capable of liking this video. And we all know that it will not only make the world a better place, but you would also be making someone, like myself, very happy today. And let's be honest, there is no better feeling than helping other people in the world. So let's smash that like button. Moving on, employment. Now, although we saw some stabilization towards the end of 2020, along with furlough keeping things afloat, there are some predictions now coming up that there will be a rise post-April, with predictions that it will rise to around 6 to 7%. Now, we also saw the employment rise between 5 to 5.5% at the end of October and November. So maybe this is a sign of things to come. And I know even that some of the safest jobs, or at least those that I would consider safe pre the virus in 2020, are now having resources cut across the board. So it's worrying times. Now, loan extensions. For those businesses who took them out in 2020, loan extensions have been made available. So basically, rather than pay it back in a 6-year period, you can now pay it back in a 10-year period, which I think is a great move by the government, allowing those hardworking businesses who, let's be honest, never really wanted any of this to happen, to stay afloat and to now recoup and grow their businesses back up to where they belong without having that debt lingering over their heads. So I think that's a great move. So business grants for leisure, retail and hospitality have again been introduced, just as they were last summer, and you can get up to £9,000 per property. So make sure you check the government website in regards to these grants, because you may be missing out on something that you don't potentially have to pay back. Of course, it'll be subject to tax, and hopefully this will keep you afloat during these difficult times. And finally, as a great Albert Einstein once said, in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. And 2020 and 21 are proving to be the most difficult years any of us have ever experienced. But as with adversity, one of my mottos is that we can always find a gift and an opportunity from it. And I think that there will be opportunities this year. Reports are already showing that 100,000 houses that have already had sales agreed could still collapse before the 31st of March. Adding the possibility of furlough not being extended and sellers now being more motivated to sell a second time around, having had their transactions fall through, a wobble in house prices could well exist. And this will obviously give us opportunities. Seeing prices fall could make the new investors or people looking from the outside maybe think it's not a good time to buy. But myself, knowing that historically prices will rise over time and learning from the lessons of 2008, and I appreciate it's not the exact same, I will be seeking properties knowing that they will bounce back in the future. in the distant future, at least from a property perspective timescale. Also, I would like to take this moment just to encourage you that vendors that may have rejected your offers in the last year may now be open to negotiating with you. You have a little bit more leverage now, and they probably have a little bit more motivation to sell. So remember, you can always go back to some of those deals. And either way, the most important thing is I hope you all stay safe for the remainder of this year. I hope you smash any of your property goals. Please drop any comments down below if there's any questions that you do have. And now let's roll those bloopers. Reports have shown that some prices listed, which moves us over time. So I personally think it's a little too. So I personally even price drops like this, however, with the addiction, and you can, there are all.